Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Rowe Leathers. I am one of the senior coaches here at American Public University. I am going to jump on in at starting at 1 o'clock. I want to make sure I'm cognizant of your time. I do thank you for taking part of your afternoon and sharing it with me. Today we're going to talk about unlocking the power of internships. It is internship season, so we are excited about that. And it is 1 o'clock, so let's jump in. All right, so as I said, my name is Rowe Leathers. I am one of the senior career coaches here at American Public University and American Military University. All right, so internships. This is the season of internships. I know that because I have a son in college at a traditional campus, and today is actually career day for him. So I've had multiple texts and calls from him asking how to navigate the career fair happening. So that's what we're going to look at today. Internships is an important part of preparing students to transition from their academic journey, or even from one career path to another. Here at American Military University, American Public University, the average age for our students is, I believe, 30 to 34. So at that age, many of you are already established in your field and looking to either move up or possibly pivot your career. And internships are a great way for you to find those opportunities, learn new skills, meet new people, and build your professional network. All right, so let's dive in. All right, so the importance of internships. All right, so what is an internship exactly? And an internship is a temporary employment. It is an opportunity that employers create for students to come into their company to learn about the industry, to learn about the positions and roles that they are available, and to be part of their work environment for that limited time. For the student, it is an opportunity to get a peek into a new area of their industry or maybe a brand new industry, an opportunity to experience uh, a way to add to their resume. And it's an opportunity just to explore and to clarify what exactly are they most interested in. And if we were to use an example, let's use supply chain because that is a very common industry that I get with my students. Supply chain, when you think about it, is anywhere from manufacturing to reaching the consumer. It is a very large industry. And so if you were to intern in a company that is part of supply chain or choose several internships, you can get a taste of the different aspects and components in that supply chain um, journey. And that's one way that you can figure out where your true interest lies and how you can choose your specialization. All right, moving on. What else does an internship do for you? An internship allows you an opportunity to develop new skills, maybe sharpen skills you already have. And it is an opportunity more than anything is to clarify your focus and start pinpointing the skills that you need to develop in order to move forward in that chosen industry. And you do that by taking on internships, by expanding your professional network as well. You will meet new people within the companies that you reach out to, but also use it as an opportunity to reach out and join groups with like-minded professionals. It's a way for you to kind of dip your toe into a new environment. And in a way, some of my students will say, okay, so if I make a mistake, I can blame it on being an intern and being new in this industry. Absolutely. An internship, even though we use that word to describe generally somebody that's new in an industry, it kind of gives you a pass because you're not expected to know anything. An internship is usually given to somebody that has yet to work in that specific industry. So if you are trying to get an internship in a field where you're already established, that might be a little bit challenging because a lot of the employers that create these opportunities are usually looking to give the opportunity to students who require an internship for their degree program. And when we think of an internship that is tied to your degree program, there's documenting, there's tracking, and there's a lot of paperwork involved because you can look at it as a class. So if you are looking for an internship, but you don't necessarily need an internship for your degree program, you will probably have to step aside, and because companies give priority to those that require it for their degree program. But it doesn't mean that you can't find opportunities. It just means that you kind of have to pivot and look at it differently. One of the options that I always suggest, if an internship is not required for you, is to look for volunteer opportunities, right? Let me just make sure I'm not jumping ahead here. A volunteer opportunity is very similar to an internship, except it's not structured. And it puts you in the driver's seat as far as choosing organizations that you want to align with. It also gives you the control as to how much time you want to, or you have to commit to volunteering with the organization. And there's not necessarily tracking either, because again, it's a volunteer position. Now, what I do say about choosing a volunteer opportunity is to make sure that you research the company and that it does align with your own values and goals. And most nonprofit organizations are structured with paid staff and filled with volunteers to fill the gaps. So if you are one of those gap fillers, if they ask you to, let's say, clean the back room or sweep the back room every now and then, that's okay, because again, it's skeletal crew that they have. But if that is the only thing they ever ask you to do, it is fair to say that thank you very much, but this is not the opportunity I was looking for. I'm looking to learn new skills and to apply the knowledge that I have. And it's fair for you to say that and move on to find a different organization to align yourself with. But networking when you volunteer as well, the same thing with you when you have an internship. It is a way for you to connect with new people. Not only are you opening your horizon to new industry or to new specialization area, but you're opening yourself to new connections as well. You can do this by meeting the people in the organization, making sure that you connect with them in a way that they know that you are there to learn. Sometimes students find mentors this way, mentors that will open doors for you, kind of guide you through the industry and what to expect. And don't forget, if you are established in your field, you could possibly be a mentor to somebody trying to get in the field you're already in. So you are not, this is just not a one-way opportunity. You have value, and there are students out there who I would appreciate to learn from you. All right, so again, looking at networking, if you are not already on LinkedIn, I encourage you to be on LinkedIn and be active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the one social media that I recommend everyone to have, because it is a harder conversation to explain why you are not on LinkedIn unless you are in an industry that, let's say, does not allow social media or is more discreet. But if you are in a normal industry like I am, it makes sense to be part of LinkedIn, and it just makes it easier to meet people and to expand your network. And as an example, I know the conferences that I've gone to, nobody carries business cards any longer. If you meet somebody and you want to connect with them, most conferences, and for me, all conferences that I have gone to, builds linked into their platform. And so if you and I end up sometime sitting together at a luncheon and we decide that we want to continue the conversation, we just connect on LinkedIn, and this is how we keep in touch with each other. So building your network in LinkedIn is a great opportunity, but there's also groups that you can join. I belong to all the groups that I could find that's on career coaching, career counseling, anything that has to do with finding jobs, employment. And then as part of my continued education, I research and read a lot of articles. When I find something that I think other people would find value in, I share it on LinkedIn. And if I do this enough, which I do, people start to recognize my picture and my brand. If they are looking for any information on salaries, on best practices for interviews or job searching, and they see my picture, more than likely they will stop to see what I'm saying that day. Now, if one day they wake up and they're looking for something, let's say on rocket science, and they see my photograph in their field, they are absolutely not going to stop because that's not my brand. I'm saying the same thing to you. Build your brand, and you can do it easily and quickly on LinkedIn. Start training your network to recognize you as an expert or someone at least knowledgeable in your chosen field. Okay. And as far as joining those groups, I've had students join those groups and come back to me and say, hey, I made a really great connection. They could possibly be a mentor or at least open doors of opportunities for me. Because when you join a group and there's a discussion, you can take part, or at least at the very least, listen to what conversations are happening or going on, because this is the grapevine for your industry. If there are new practices, new innovations, anything trending, they may be discussing it, and you want to make sure that you hear about it. Okay. All right. Strategies and best practices. 1. Okay. As mentioned earlier, this is the internship season. Internships that are open today are likely going to be 4 positions for 2025. And it follows this, and that schedule is based on traditional college campuses. They hire now and it starts in 2025. There may be just, there may be anomalies and there may be differences, but generally that is the structure. So if you're looking for an internship, it is likely going to be for next year. So begin your search early, right? If you have a chosen field already, then you have an understanding of who the key players are, which companies are the big employers. Large companies generally have internship opportunities built in already. So go to their website and find out what those requirements are. Now, I have here, it says cast a wide net when applying. But what I'm referring to is rather than just applying for 1 or 2, make sure you look at your entire industry and look at the key players. Finding an internship is very similar to finding a job. It is just as competitive and maybe even more, while the expectation by the employer for you to have the skill or knowledge needed is low. The competition is high because there's a lot of students trying to get the same positions as you are. So cast a wide net in that industry. You still want to be targeted. So figure out who the key players are in your field. You could easily do that using ChatGPT. Go into ChatGPT and use the proper prompt. In the field of XYZ, whatever your field is, what are or who are the largest companies in whatever region you're in? And I say that because when we think of an internship, we're looking for hands-on experience. Hands-on experience needs to be done on site. There are opportunities, not so much as they were when we had COVID, where we were in the middle of COVID, for remote. But really, if you're looking to dip your toe in an industry and to learn about it, there's no better way to do it than in person on site, right? So you want to identify the companies that have a presence in your region. It doesn't make sense for you to figure out who has a great internship program in Texas if you live in Nebraska and there's no place for you to stay. Now, there are some companies, and I know this through traditional internships, that are so large that they actually have their internship built in, pays them, and then brings them in and house them in the specific area. I don't know if our employers that we have participating in next week's internship VCF are set up that way. Yes, there is a VCF for internships September 18th. This is what we're preparing for. And again, I say that this may not be the same situation as for a traditional on-site campus for large companies to offer housing to move you or paid positions, because again, our traditional students are 32 to 34, may not have that ability to move and leave their families for a certain stretch of time. Okay, so read the descriptions. Okay, so let me step back here a little bit. I should have mentioned that there is an internship happening September 18th. That is what we are hopefully preparing you for. If you have not registered, please do. I will drop the links at the end of this presentation. And we're actually almost there because I want to make sure I'm cognizant of your time and that I leave any time for questions. All right, let's move on. All right, we want to stay organized. This is similar to how you do your job search, because keep in mind, everything the employer / hiring manager / recruiter will know about you is based on what you have provided to them. That will be anything that you've put on the application, your resume, and cover letter. So make sure that you keep track, create folders for each employer, because when the time comes and you're going to be interviewed, everything they ask is going to be based on that information you have. So you want to make sure that you can have access to the exact same information you submitted. Okay. Make sure that you're aware of deadlines. Like I said, this is internship season and there are deadlines. So most companies will have made their decision before the year's end. Some, if it's a summer internship, will go into the spring season with their deadlines, but make sure that you are aware of those deadlines for the companies that you apply for. And then create a follow-up timeline as well. When you're, again, it's very similar to applying for a job. You ask the questions and make sure that you know who you've spoken with, what the timeline is, what the expectation is, and that you will follow up. Okay. All right. So we talked about that everything the employer will know about you is everything that you present to them. So you make sure that your resume and cover letters are accurate. Right. Each opportunity should be an opportunity to tailor your resume. What does that mean? Well, let's break this down. Think of the job posting as a help wanted sign. A help wanted sign about a problem that the employer is trying to resolve. Your job as the applicant is to have an understanding of what that problem they're trying to solve, and then craft your resume as part of the solution. Because it doesn't matter how great your resume is. If you're missing the points or the problems or the needs of the employer, you're not a match. And it's kind of like driving a car. I always use this as an example. I can tell you what the brakes do, what the steering wheel will do, what the clutch will do, lights, everything. But I cannot tell you how to drive the specific streets to turn to if you don't tell me what the destination is. Same thing with your resume. How will you determine what is relevant to put on your resume if you don't have a guide? That job posting is your guide. Read it, understand it, look at what the competencies are required, look for experiences that are needed. And if you have them, if you have the competencies, if you have that experience, you make sure that that is what the employer / hiring manager / recruiter is going to see on your resume. And it's not as daunting as it sounds, because if you are applying for the same job and you're applying to 3 different companies, the competencies are going to be the same. What's going to differ is their priority. So company 1 might have a different priority of maybe out of 5 competencies, their priority, let's say you're applying for something in supply chain. Let's go back to that. And the competencies or required skills would be project manager, maybe warehousing, and maybe team collaboration, right? Those are great. But company 1 may want somebody that's more project management oriented and has that stronger skill. So when you are creating your resume for company 1, you want to make sure that's the first thing that they see, and that is the bigger bulk of the experience that you convey. Company 2 might have might want more experience in warehousing. You're going to tweak your resume, and that is what you want them to see, and that's going to be the bulk of what you convey. Similarly with company 3, company C, I can't remember if I used 1, 2, 3 or ABC, but anyway, you get the point. This gives the impression to the employer that you've actually read their job posting, that you took the time to understand their problem. What this accomplishes then is not only that you created a great resume and cover letter, but that you've already conveyed to the employer that you can be part of the solution they're looking for. And that is one way you can differentiate yourself from the pool of candidates. Because as long as I have been doing this, and I have been here going on 12 years as a career coach, I know that not every person will take the time to tailor that resume or cover letter. And for half the time, it's because they say they don't know what to put on it. Everything you need as a guide is on that job posting. They have given that to you. So knowing that that is a guide puts you steps ahead of most people. All right. So let's get back on track here. Take advantage of career services. That is what we are here for. We are career coaches. We are broken down into specific industries. So if you reach out to us and tell us what industry you want to work for, you are going to be paired with the proper coach. Now, we don't provide job placement. What we'll do, our goal is to help you become career ready. And that, again, is your resume, your cover letter, your job search strategies, and of course, the interview process. Our goal is to get you ready. And we are able to work one-on-one career coaching with you. So keep that in mind. And if you don't really know what you need, reach out to us anyway, because sometimes it is that brainstorming that allows you and your career coach to figure out what your next steps will be. Okay. All right. Set clear goals. We've talked about this already. It's similar again to your job search. Figure out what type of job you're looking for. Right? Because it doesn't make sense for you to apply to a ton of different jobs because one, you are likely not going to tailor your resume. And that means the employer is likely not going to see that you're suitable for the job. And really, it's a waste of everybody's time. So make sure that you perform a targeted search for your internship. When you're reading an internship, make sure that you understand one, what the company is requiring, the time frame, the time commitment, and what's required. You are also interviewing them to see if that internship they're offering is a fit for your lifestyle. Again, our average age is 32 to 34, so we know you have lives, and those internships are going to have to fit into your lives. Okay, so you must be flexible as well. All right, so look at each internship as an opportunity for professional growth and a way to network and build your brand. How you can start this is just by practicing where you are already. Look to your colleagues, collaborate on projects, be helpful to your supervisors and managers. If there is an opportunity to join a task force or a project and there is a skill you want to sharpen, speak up. Show them that you are eager to learn and expand in your role. And of course, other professionals that you will meet on LinkedIn or clubs or organizations. Clubs and organizations are a great way to expand on new skills, new opportunities, and just to learn. It gives you leadership experience. And leadership is another thing that is important as far as soft skills are concerned. The three things that I see and that I encourage everyone to work on in whatever capacity you're seeking or already in. Learn how to collaborate with other people, learn how to engage with other people, and learn how to communicate. Those are important. And I almost want to say that those three skills can push you over the top. If the playing field was level and there are three people in contention for a specific role, and if you are able to show that you can work with a team and be productive and be successful, that may push you over the edge to get the job. All right, next one. Communicate effectively. Well, we just rolled into that. So I am jumping ahead. Be proactive, seek out opportunities to learn and contribute. We talked about that. Actively seek feedback. This one we haven't touched on. Feedback is important because you want to make sure that you gauge if you are doing the right thing or if you are veering off left. Mentors are wonderful for that. And you don't necessarily have to find somebody that will take on the official title of your mentor. It can just be a colleague. It can be somebody that has a little bit of seniority over you that can possibly explain to you what's over, what's next in the horizon. And they don't necessarily have to be that close to you either. You can find them on LinkedIn. So really, a mentor is anyone who can help open doors for you, help you understand what to expect, and help you focus on what the next steps are in your industry. Okay. All right. Now, document your achievements. This is something that a lot of people ask for. How do I convey that I'm the right candidate and suitable for the position? How do I stand out from the pool of candidates? Because here's the thing, your career history and your degree together is what makes you a unique candidate, right? Now, what's important to the employer is how have you used those combinations to contribute to your former employers or your existing employers? Since you're not really looking for a job, this is for an internship. How have you contributed? Because if you really look at it, if you a job posting or a job description is the minimum required for that job. We want to stretch ourselves and do more than just the minimum. We want to extend ourselves and contribute. You should want to help improve your organization. So this is what they're looking for, and this is how you're going to make yourself stand out. What has been your accomplishment and achievements? Right? And another example, if you and I are applying for the same job, let's say we are exactly in the same positions and there's a promotion that's come up and I want to apply, you want to apply. Now, in order to stand out, if we just wrote down what we did that is in our job description, we've just met the minimum. But I want to stand out. I'm going to talk about how I've contributed to projects. I'm going to talk about how I've learned and continued learning about this industry. I'm going to talk about how I've collaborated with other colleagues, departments, or participated in projects. That's how you stand out. Those are your achievements. Because if you meet only the minimum, I don't see how they can see that you're any better than everybody else. Right? So the goal is for you to convey your achievements. But in order for you to convey achievements, you have to have them. So think about that. And I think we're coming to an end. If you have any questions, please drop them in the chat. But I wanted to make sure that I leave enough time for you to ask any questions. Of course, if you would prefer to reach out to us individually, send your request for career coaching to careerservices@apus.edu. Or if you just want feedback on a resume and you don't want to talk to anybody, send it to resumehelp@apus.edu. But I want to drop a link to some of the resources that we have. Give me a second here. I know I left it. Okay, here it is. You are all students, so you should be able to access these. If you are not a student, you may not be able to access this, but in the chat, here are resources that are highly useful to you. Hiration is our AI-based platform that allows you to build your resume either using a template or for you to upload your own. You can play around with it. It's a wonderful tool. It is a game changer. There is a feature that is called Job Match, where you can scan the job description, cut and paste, and then scan it against your resume to see how well you are a match, right? If you need to learn how to use Hiration, and there is a learning curve, there is second bullet that I posted is a tutorial on YouTube that you can watch. Career Link, the next one is our university community. It is where our job board is housed. It is where you can connect with your peers, classmates, employers, and staff. And if you want a safe place to practice networking, that would be CareerLink. Okay. We have resources for resumes, interviews, all kinds of career resources you can access on CareerLink. And of course, it is where our calendar lives. Oh, there it is. I forgot to hit it. It's where our calendar lives, so you can see all of the upcoming webinars, all the VCFs, and all of the training that we offer. All right. Does anyone have any questions? Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Again, if you want to work with us, let us know. careerservices@apus.edu. It's been a long day. I apologize. All right. So if you have any questions, please drop them below. I will stay a couple more minutes, but otherwise, I thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful afternoon.